Alright, so now we're going to talk about the midpoint and distance formulas. So this should be a little bit of an algebra review, but if you have a number line and you have 2 points on your number line and you want to know the distance between those 2 points, originally you would go, okay, well 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well the distance is 5. You can also use this numerically by looking at the difference between your 2 points. So x2 is point B, which is at 2, and then x1 is at -3. And you do the absolute value of that, which 2 plus 3 is then equal to 5. You do the absolute value because you're looking at the distance, and distance isn't going to be negative, it's going to be a positive value. You don't care which way it's oriented. If it's up or down, you're looking at the measurement of it. Right? For midpoint, if you're like, okay, well, half of that, you want to go halfway on both sides, they're both going to have equal. Well, they meet up right here at -1/2. So the midpoint is then going to be at the direct middle of those 2 points. To do this, you can, count it, 2.5 on both sides, or you can find the sum of those 2 points and divide by 2. So the sum is going to be -3 plus 2 divided by 2. This is really just the average. In this case, -3 plus 2 is -1 over 2 is -1/2, which is exactly what we found on our number line. So it means we're doing well. Okay. However, we're not just in one plane. We also can look at 2 dimensions. So if you want to know 2 dimensions, so we have x1 and y1, and then x2 and y2 over here. The distance formula is the square root of the differences between your x's squared plus the differences between your y's squared. Alright, so the kind of cool part about this is it follows a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's how they found the distance formula. If you extended this out, and you extended this out like this, right, you had some sort of triangle here, and you call this side A, this side B, and this side C, you want to find the length of this side, which is C. C is then going to be the square root of a squared plus b squared. A squared is then just your differences in the x direction, so it's how long that distance between your x's, which, as we said earlier over here, the distance is just the difference between your 2 x's. So it's that distance squared plus the distance, this time you're looking in the y direction because this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So the differences between your y's squared. And the square root so that you have one single side. That's all the distance formula is. And if you want a little bit more explanation on that, we can go over that in class, just ask. Okay. For the midpoint, you want to find where, so it's going to be probably around here, right? You're trying to find where this segment is going to be congruent to that segment. One way to do this is by looking at the mean, the average. And so just like with our other equation over here, where we had the sum of the 2 divided by 2, you do the exact same thing here, but you do it separately for each point. So you do some for the x coordinates and some for the y coordinates. And so you would find where these are halfway and where the y's are halfway. Put those 2 points together and that is your new xy coordinate. Alright, we're going to do some practice with this, a little bit more algebra review in class, and I will see you then.